I've been wearing the same sweatshirt for this entire week. I haven't slept, I'm gonna brush my hair, I look like shit. My name's Sarah and I study fashion design at my local community college. I wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about what it's like, my experience, and just kind of shed some light on the fact that you can study fashion design in a community college setting at certain colleges. So before I get into what my college experience has been, I thought I'd talk a little bit about my background before I went to college. I did really bad in high school. I struggled a lot in high school. It was just a mess. I was a mess, and I didn't do very good in high school. I went to high school in my area, like just regular public high school, and then I switched to a homeschooling program in like midway through my junior year. It was a way better fit for me. Since I didn't do well in high school, I was never really talked to about how to get into a 4-year or that I could go to a 4-year. I was kind of told straight off the bat, you're not going to go to a 4-year school because you a little bit dumb, girl. Even though they were like, you're not dumb, you just have learning issues. Went to my homeschooling program, and through there, they actually got me ready to go to community college because that's what my plan was kind of set up to be, and just what made the most sense with the fact that I didn't have good grades. I hadn't been prepared at all through the first part of my junior year, and I needed to catch up in homeschooling anyways. They also got me set up with community college by helping me with the process of getting registered, and they even had a class that was all about getting your plan together. It was like your senior exit was to get your plan together for what you're going to do after high school, and mine was to go to community college. And in my plan, I said I would like to go to community college and then transfer to FIDM. FIDM is the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. They have a location in San Diego, LA, and San Francisco. And I'll talk about that a little bit more kind of as we get into my college experience. So I picked my local community college, and I had it in the back of my head that I want to do fashion design, but I was open to the fact that that might change. I was like, maybe I want to go into writing, maybe I want to go into illustration. But ultimately, I kind of felt like fashion design was going to be it, but I wanted to experience first. So I went in and I started to do my degree. But I started off really slow, and I regret going so slow, but I did struggle in community college as well. In general, I just always have struggled in school settings. And I've gotten a lot better with that as I've been in college and figured myself out a little bit. But I went kind of slow, and it's actually taken me much longer than most people to finish my 2-year degree. It's taken me like 5 years, but that's what happens when you go part-time for like 2 years in a row, and then there's only select semesters that they offer certain classes in the fashion design program, and you really have to work on your schedule, and I didn't. As I got a little more into it and decided I want to go into fashion design, took my intro to fashion class and all that, and really got started in it, I got to see the fashion design program for what it was, and really it solidified that this is what I want to go into, this is what I feel comfortable in, and honestly feels like the only place that I will thrive. So the fashion design program at my community college, they teach you all kinds of things. They teach you things about like in this realm of styling and the concepts of design, and then they also teach you how to make clothing. A lot of people that I talk to who know nothing about a fashion design program or fashion design in college, actually some people don't think about the fact that I'm learning how to make clothing. I've taken sewing classes, I take pattern making classes, I take draping classes, which is designing on a dress form. It's my dress form. Her name is Barb. I've encountered people in my general ed classes who are like, there's a fashion design major? I didn't even know you could major in that. And it's like, fucking, yeah. Did you not see it on the list when you signed up for your engineering or whatever? Nothing against engineering. An example, I've had some people be a little bit rude about it and assume that you are not smart because you're going to fashion design. It's like, I'm smart, I just have trouble with math. So when I first started in the fashion design program, we were in what I would consider kind of an underfunded room. It was a very small room, and it had a lot of rows it had a bunch of rows of tables in it, and you had like this much space to get by the like back of someone's chair, and we have a bunch of sewing machines set up, and then since you need so many things plugged in all the time, there would have these extension cords from the ceiling that you would pull down, and be on a pulley system. You'd pull them down and plug your machine in if you couldn't get one of the plugs on the floor. So there was just wires everywhere. There's sewing machines everywhere. You can barely walk. And when I first started, that was a lot of it. And we mostly spent a lot of our classes, if you were in a fashion design major, between 2 classrooms. it was that classroom with all the tables and not enough space, and then another classroom in the same building that was just more of a regular classroom with computers set up on it that we would do like our like fashion history classes in. We'd do our fashion selection classes, my intro to fashion design classes in there. That's the kind of stuff you did. And I'm majoring in specifically fashion design, but my school also offers fashion merchandising, where you will learn kind of the other side, not the making of things, but more of the business side of fashion. Both are really great things to go into, but it depends on who you are and what you like. And that's one thing where I think it's good for people to start in the community college, and if they want to go into fashion design, to decide, do I want to go into design or do I want to go into merchandising? Because they're very different, but they're both very important, and I think it's good to figure that out before committing to a full fashion design program at a design school, an art school, you know, a 4-year college, because it is so much money, and it's good to know first, because it can be really hard if that's not what you want to do. It's hard anyways, but if it's not what you want to do, it'll be hard and you'll be having a bad time. So it's better to have it be hard, but you're having a good time. So even going into a community college, I was still pretty intimidated walking into a fashion class, just based on the fact of everyone's gonna be stylish and they're gonna judge me, and that is not at all the case. If anyone judges you, they're an asshole, and they'll judge anyone. And basically everyone I've met in the fashion design program has been very sweet, and we all are just, you know, they're trying to have a good time. And it also creates a lot of camaraderie, I would say. Like, I've had some really, really hard classes where you're all designing all kinds of pieces. You are working the hardest, like staying up way too late every night just sewing, and you have flops of pieces in that class, or things do not work out, and you bring to class and you're like, I hate it! But there's so much support from the other students in your class, and I assume that this is not just a community college thing. I think this is any fashion design school thing, fashion program thing, and I would hope that it's that way. I would assume it's that way, but I don't actually have any experience in a design program other than my own that I'm currently in. I also should say I am not quite done with my degree. I'm in my last 2 classes before I finish and get my associates in fashion design. Also, fashion design is, although you look at it and you're like, artsy, it's an associate of the science, not of arts. I think that's because it's very technical in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, you are expressing yourself. You're hella expressing yourself in it, and it is an art, but also it is very practical, which is one of the reasons I really like fashion design. It's an art that is practical. You can go for a very practical side of fashion design where you are creating items that are for completely functional use. Like, you can go and you're like, I'm creating this for, like, you've seen those sleeping bags that are also jackets. That is someone who probably got a degree in fashion design creating those and making that work from their technical ability. But then you also see runway shows where you're like, I can see anyone wearing that on the street, but that's fashion design. It's a wide girth of what you can do, which is very exciting for anyone going to fashion design. You don't have to be strictly designing anything. You can do whatever you want, basically, as long as it goes on a sewing machine, you know? But I was really intimidated going to my first fashion design class, especially when I got into the sewing classes and it started to feel very real and not just dipping my toe, because a lot of people in the intro classes, they're just dipping a toe. But when I got into sewing classes, I was intimidated. I walked in and I was like, oh, everyone looks so good, and I'm here in like a Romwe shirt and like not looking great. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't feel like, especially like back then, I didn't feel like the most fashionable person. I still now I'm like, I'm fashionable enough, but you don't have to be fashionable all the time. I put a lot more thought into like what I wear. I've been having a lot more fun expressing myself in the last couple of years. But when I walked in that class, I was very intimidated. But then, what I've noticed in every class, especially even as I've gotten to one of those people who comes in and I'm like looking fucking great, like thought about my outfit that day, like really trying, really just like making the most of the fact that I don't have to wear my work uniform. I'm only going to school, so I'm wearing whatever I want. Even after turning that person, I have seen and realized we all dress in like our best. We express ourselves. We're having so much fun with our outfits every day in class until you get to like week 5 or 6, and then everyone's like, I've been wearing the same sweatshirt for this entire week. I haven't slept, I'm gonna brush my hair, I look like shit. I mean, it's fine. Like, going into a fashion design program is not about what you wear. It's about what you make. You don't look like a fashion design major based on what you wear, or a fashion design major based on what you make. Now, of course, there are some downsides to community college. Of course, it's the whole people not taking your major seriously, But I think that could happen in a lot of schooling programs you go into where they may not take your major completely seriously because it's fashion design, which is stupid. But I'm sure it's something that can be seen across the board of people not completely seeing fashion design as a viable thing to get your degree in. Although you very much benefit from having a degree in fashion design and learning about it in a college setting. But there is a big benefit to going to art and design schools where it is completely respected in the fact that everyone understands that we are not going to, do rocket science. We are going to do something within the arts, something that is creative, something that gives a little bit of life to the world on the other side of the spectrum. So I think that's a big benefit for going to a design school. And I think it's also a big benefit of they put a lot of emphasis on the type of opportunities that are for you. Like there's in my college there's all kinds of like career days and stuff like that, and there's like internship opportunities, and almost none of them actually apply to what I'm going into. They all are a completely different type of career paths, which is great, but nothing really applies to, none of them is to be a design assistant, a pattern assistant, intern at a fashion company. And that might be based off of where I live, but it's something that doesn't feel completely catered to, which is okay. It's not something I completely expect. I'm sure other majors also have this issue, but it's just something I've noticed and something I've seen just based on reading up on the different design colleges and the type of internships people do and the type of opportunities that are given to you. But then on the other side, there are opportunities within my community college that are pretty cool based on the fashion program. Like we have a field studies class that goes to the Magic Trade Show in Las Vegas. I didn't do it because honestly, I couldn't afford it. It's like $360 to go, but it's a really, really cool opportunity. And then there is still opportunities to study abroad. The fashion program has gone to France and I believe the UK, over to England and London. I think it's specifically London that they do. But the fashion design program has done those study abroad situations, which again, I didn't do. It's a money thing, but that's really cool opportunities. And then probably my favorite thing, which is totally biased, is that there is a fashion show at the end of the year, every year, that is for our design program. The last one was at a hotel, and they actually rented out a whole space for it, and it was like a really well-produced fashion show. The merchandising students collaborate with the fashion design students to put the fashion design students' pieces on the runway. And I did last year a collections class. The collections class is where you make a small collection. I made a 3-piece collection. And it was a great class. It was a cutthroat class, in my opinion, and I think almost everyone's opinion in that class, but it was amazing. I made some really great friends in that class, and I was really proud of the collection I made. That is what our collections class is kind of aiming for. You're learning a lot about how to produce your own collection and how to go forward with producing it on a bigger scale and like what that would look like and how all these different avenues of selling your clothing, they really get into it. But one of our main goals is to put our collections on the runway for the fashion show, and there's a lot of awards in the fashion show because we also see things from our draping classes, we see things from the millinery classes, millinery hat making, we see things from the costume design classes, we see all kinds of all of what these people have made through the course and all the amazing, beautiful stuff that people have put their blood, sweat, and tears into, walk down the runway, and our collections were a big part of that. I put in my collection for that, and then they give out all kinds of awards. So they do awards that they're told about beforehand, and you get an email about best craftsmanship and most creative. I don't know if that's actually one, but it's all kinds of really great awards that can be designated to any of the items that go on the runway. And then there is an award that is for the collection. So it's first to third place for the collections, and I surprisingly won the first place in that. But it's something that they announce at the fashion show, and it's probably been one of the biggest highlights of my fashion design journey at community college, and maybe in general. I don't know if there's any other time I'll be, an award winner at a fashion show, but it's a really big highlight of mine, and they actually had a really great prize in it. I was given a gift certificate to get a dress form, and these retail for $1,000, and it's something that I would not own without that. So there is some really great opportunity there. I'll do a full video on my collection and my experience in the fashion show because it really was amazing for me and really uplifting and really solidified that I feel like I'm in the right place. But I digress. Since I've been doing my AA, I'm almost done, and over this past summer I went and I applied at FIDM. I live in San Diego, so I went to San Diego campus and applied through there. Did the whole process and I ended up being accepted. And now I'm going to finish my associates at my community college and then transfer to FIDM. The one hard part though about FIDM is even though I will be coming in with a full associates from my community college, not all of my credits transfer, and I will be getting a second associates and then pursuing my BA through FIDM. I think I'm going to do professional designation for fashion design, and that'll be my BA. But I'm very excited, and I don't think I would be getting into that school at all without my community college. I needed to know what I was getting into, and I needed to ease into the fact that this takes a lot, and I would not have been ready for it straight out of high school at all. So that's why I highly recommend going to community college, because fashion design is a lot, and you want to make sure if you're going into something that is like such a big change and such an amazing opportunity that you make the most out of it, that you enjoy it, and that you are sure that that's what you want to do. So I am very lucky to have this opportunity to live close enough to a community college where I can study fashion design. I would just like to tell people that you can study fashion design at a community college level. Of course, shoot for the stars, but don't think that that is your only option. No, there are multiple options. If you or your family is not financially able, if you want to hold off before getting into that kind of arrangement, do that, and you can study fashion design at a community college. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think it's something that literally no one ever talked to me about until I got to my homeschooling program. In public high school, no one talked to me about it. None of the counselors brought up the fact that I could actually go into fashion design like I was clear that I wanted to. And I really lost sight of that dream because it wasn't shown to me. So look into community college. And you can take community college classes while in high school. If you want to start getting into it now, go take sewing classes at your community college. It'll be super fun. You'll learn a lot. And shit, make a business at 16. Make a business at 16. Sew in your items, because you'll be able to make full clothing pieces after what you learn. Of course, you can learn from YouTube, but get college credit for it. And also, it's really great to, if you're like me, it's really great to learn things from an instructor. So I would highly recommend it. So all in all, I just really wanted to share this because I didn't know that you could go to community college for fashion design. I feel like I knew nothing about college because of the way I was treated in high school by the counselors and teachers. Like, I don't want to harp on them, but it was kind of fucked, alright? And like, I was like fucking myself over anyways. But I just wanted to put it out there that is very much an option. It's something you should look into. And also, like, going to community college for fashion design is something that people should respect. Just saying. But yeah, I hope this kind of showed that there are fashion design options in community colleges. There's also a lot of other options, of course. It's a great avenue financially, and, you know, it gives you the opportunity to really look around and figure out what you want to do, if college is for you, all of that. So I highly recommend looking into it. And I really wanted to share it because I really enjoyed my college. I really enjoyed my community college experience and the fashion design program that I'm in. I feel like I wouldn't be so solidified in the fact that fashion design is what I want to pursue and what I love without this community college program. And there's no way that I would have been accepted into a design school or a fashion design program at a 4-year college straight out of high school. So know that you can have a 2.4 GPA, get into a design school just based off of what you make. And also going to community college and just showing that you're willing to persist and work on yourself says a lot. It says a lot to any 4-year school you're trying to get into. And it shows, you can look at your transcript and say, there's been growth here. I feel very solidified in what I want to do. I'm not going to give up. So let me in. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I feel weird doing outros. Bye, bitch.